So welcome back to the show. So we saw a procedural vote yesterday, and that vote failed. So we're talking about the infrastructure bill. They wanted to open debate on this infrastructure bill, and it did not pass. So I want to talk a little bit about what that means and when they plan to vote again on this infrastructure bill, at least the procedural vote on the infrastructure bill. And I also want to show you a clip of President Biden. He was in a town hall yesterday, and he talked a little bit about the infrastructure bill. So those are the two things we're going to talk about today. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. Okay, so like always, make sure in the comment section, if you see a comment by me, so if you see my name there and my picture, make sure there's also a check next to my name. If you do not see a check next to my name, it is not me. It's someone that's trying to spam you. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to go over my list here of what transpired yesterday, because there was some stuff that happened yesterday that was pretty interesting to me. Now, we all anticipated that this vote was not going to pass. But there are some things in here that kind of, raised an eyebrow when I looked at them. So first off, we're looking at the vote 49-51. And I know you're saying, well, you have 50 Democrats, 50 Republicans, 51 voted against it. So that means that one of the Democrats voted against it. And you are correct. Actually, the majority leader, Chuck Schumer, the person who called this vote to the floor, he voted against it. Now, the reason why he did that is so that will allow him to bring it back up. So if he voted for it, he would not be allowed. So it's more of a procedural tactic or strategy. And so now he can bring it back up, bring it back to the floor. And it looks like they want to bring it back to the floor on Monday. At least you have some Republicans, Senate Republicans, that are part of this negotiation saying it's going to take until Monday for them to kind of figure this whole thing out. So that's what we're looking at right now. Now, one of the things that I found was really interesting when it comes to this vote. Now, they needed 60 votes. Obviously, they didn't come close to the 60 votes. But the interesting thing is you have this bipartisan group, right? And now they're talking the bipartisan group is 10 Republicans and 10 Democrats. I've heard 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats. I've even heard 11 Republicans and 11 Democrats. Senator Portman just said that a couple of days ago. But when it comes down to it, looks like it's 10 Republicans, 10 Democrats. But the Democrats voted to move forward with debate. So they voted for this procedural vote yesterday, but all 10 Republicans voted against the procedural vote. So you have a bipartisan group working on this infrastructure bill, but they're not really voting in a bipartisan manner when it comes to opening up a debate on this infrastructure bill. So that's what we have right now. And so hopefully on Monday, they can vote again on this procedural vote, and then they can open this up and move forward. Now, why is this important? Now, this is important for a variety of different reasons. We physically need to rebuild this country. And they've been talking about infrastructure for the last 10 years or even more. And so we're in a situation where this is the closest that we've come to an infrastructure bill. So let's go ahead and move forward with it so we can start rebuilding the country. This will also provide jobs, high-paying jobs for a lot of people, which will improve our economy and will allow us to move forward. This first infrastructure bill will allow us to move forward to the second infrastructure bill, and that infrastructure bill will be more the human infrastructure bill. That's the $3.5 trillion bill that you're hearing talked about right now. We don't know exactly what's in that bill, but that will be a huge boost to a lot of people in this country. Okay, so now I want to play a clip of President Biden at the town hall yesterday. Now, he's talking about Senator Portman. That's how he starts off. Senator Portman was talking about this whole infrastructure bill. He's part of this bipartisan group that's trying to move forward with this infrastructure bill. And Senator Portman was talking about delaying it a little bit. He didn't want to do that procedural vote yesterday. So let's take a look into this, and here we go.
As a congressman from this area, I talked to him before I got, and I really mean it. He's a decent, honorable man, and he and I are working on trying to get this infrastructure bill passed.
But you're talking about Senator Ron Portman of Ohio.
I'm sorry. I thought
since you mentioned that infrastructure, the bipartisan infrastructure deal failed the procedural vote today, right?
But yeah, it did.
In the Senate
that's irrelevant.
Okay, so he's saying it's irrelevant. The president's saying it's irrelevant. And he's saying that because they've already planned to vote on Monday when it comes to this procedural vote. Now, the reason why Majority Leader Schumer wanted to move forward with it yesterday is because he's trying to push it along. He's trying to push it along a little bit faster than what the senators are comfortable, how fast they're comfortable moving. They don't want to move as fast as Chuck Schumer wants to push this. And I think it's a good thing because we saw last weekend, we saw Senator Portman and the other senators getting together and negotiating over the weekend, which is something good because I can guarantee you if the majority leader, Schumer, didn't have this vote yesterday, then they would not have been working on the weekend to try to negotiate and get this pen to paper when it comes to this infrastructure bill, because they don't have all the details yet. They still don't have the pay-fors. And so I think that's a good thing that they actually tried to move for this procedural vote on Wednesday, on yesterday, because it's now getting these senators to start moving and start working a little bit harder to try to get something done, because they see that time is running out. And time is running out because we know in August they will be going on recess. And if they go on recess in August, we might not see anything until maybe September, October, or even later.
Go on. Okay. In the sense that negotiators say that they need more time.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, but they're expected to vote again on Monday, but how much time do you think that they need to get this done?
Till Monday. Look, no, I'm not being facetious. I'm not being facetious. You had up to 20 Republicans sign a letter saying, we think we need this deal. We think we need this deal. So I think there'll be, by the way, the reason we're talking this way, we need 60 votes to get something moving. And what's going to happen is, I believe, because I take my Republican colleagues at their word when you shake. I come from a tradition in the Senate. You shake your hand, that's it. You keep your word. And I found Rob Portman does that. I found that, your governor is a good man. You shake his hand, it's done. No, I really mean, I'm not being falsely
You think it's going to move forward in the Senate on Monday?
I do. Here's what I think. What happens is the vote on Monday is a motion to be able to proceed to this issue. Then they're going to debate the issue of the elements, the individual elements of this plan to make sure we're going to fix that damn bridge of yours going into Kentucky. No, I'm serious.
We're going to talk about that bridge in just a moment. We have some
anyway
about that bridge.
But I think it's going to get done. You may find in the amendments that take place on the detail of whether or not, and I'm the guy that wrote this bill to begin with, and so I've had to compromise to make changes in the bill. When I say I campaigned on this. I mean, everybody thought I was a little.
Now, you saw how he said he wrote the bill. Now, this is, and I talked about this in the last administration. The White House, the White House has too much power when it comes to legislation. They should not. We have a balance of power in this country. So the legislators, the lawmakers, these Congress people, they should be writing these bills. And you see, he kind of walked back on that. Well, this is the pledge that I put out to Americans when I campaigned for president. But the reality is, the White House is creating these bills. They are drafting these bills when it should be the Congress people. They should be drafting the bills and then voting on the bills, approving the bills, and then sending it to the president. Of course, you want the White House's input when it comes to these bills, but they should not really be as integral as they are right now. That's just my opinion. I think we should have that balance of power, and we should have the Congress people working out all the fine details, letting the White House know what's going on, but working out all the fine details, getting it passed, and then moving it to the president. That's just my opinion on that topic.
Nuts when I talked about there were 3 reasons why I was running. 1, to restore the soul of this country, bring back some decency. 2, to build back the middle class, because they've been getting really knocked around a long time. They're the backbone and unite the country. And one of the big issues was dealing with infrastructure. Remember, last 4 years, we had infrastructure week every week. We didn't do a thing. But it's necessary. No, I really mean it. It's going to not only increase job opportunities, it's going to increase commerce. It's a good thing, and I think we're going to get done.
So that was President Biden talking about this infrastructure bill, the first infrastructure bill. And this is very important. And I talked about some of the reasons why I think this is something that needs to happen sooner than later. This bill should have been done months ago, but they wanted to make it bipartisan, and that's okay. But by making it bipartisan, now you have to really work with the other side to try to figure out exactly how to move forward with this first infrastructure bill. And once this first infrastructure bill is passed, and let's hope it gets passed by August. And I'm just going to say by August because I really don't see it getting passed before August. And we might see a situation where we have the majority leader of the Senate and the Speaker of the House holding over these lawmakers in order to get this vote that they need so they can pass it and then send it to the president for his final signature. Because if we can get this done in August, then that means that we can look at the second infrastructure bill. So when we look at that second infrastructure bill, that American Families Plan, that's the bill that should have some help for all Americans when it comes to people on Social Security, when it comes to a possible forced stimulus, okay? Possible. At this point, I would put it at about 40%, okay? 40% chance. But it's still, it's not on the table, but it's still being talked about among some lawmakers. So we'll have to see if they talk about it even more, but that is still a potential. And then we're going to see other things like free college, community college for the first 2 years, also free pre-K education for 2 years. So we're looking at some really important things that can help a lot of people. And so we'll have to see what they do with this American Families Plan. If you guys have any questions, post them down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.